our Tremolo series.
In this series, we're going to share with you tremolo pedals by some of our favorite manufacturers.
Thanks for joining us. Today we're looking at the Tide Rider from Pigtronix. But before we go any further, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, clicking the notification bell so you know what we're up to, and you interacting with us helps us interact with interesting people, bring you interesting products to make it more fun for all of us.
Right.
So if you would hit that button, click, that'd be great. So now I'm going to kick it to you finally.
Yeah, I mean, this should be a quick one, I think. Quick. Pigtronix. Tide Rider. Couple pedals out there by Pigtronix now that I think are Guitar Center, Musician Friend exclusive, something like that are showing up on the deals of the day. And they really are deals.
Yes.
And if you're watching this video, it is probably a deal of the day today, right? And it's probably showing back up. That's why we're doing it, to share this with you. Pigtronix makes some awesome stuff. We've been down this road before. I think our first experience with Pigtronix was the Rotortron rotary speaker simulator. And, you know, we've gotten rid of about 90% of the Leslie pedals that we did.
Right.
But this one's still here.
It's got some unique features.
Yeah, really unique. And same with the envelope filter. We got rid of a bunch of envelope filters, but the Resotron, which comes in the biggest box. I mean, it's like I have the box and the tractor trailer to haul it kind of thing. But an incredibly...
It's unique.
I don't even know how... Yeah, unique. Unique. Envelope filter. So Pat picked up the Tide Rider Tremolo here, but you also, in an upcoming episode...
Right. It's the Emanator. It is an analog delay. Bucket Brigade chip, maybe 2 Bucket Brigade chips in here. This really small form factor. So this was my first foray into it, but we're actually doing the Tide Rider first. So the Tide Rider, we have the box. But the Tide Rider actually tells you everything you need to know right on the box about this pedal.
Analog tremolo. You have a speed. You have a depth. And then you have another little button that changes the rate of the speed. So you have kind of like a slow setting. Really slow to like medium. Then you have a fast, which gets you... We'll show you that. There's not a lot to show you here. We have a depth, a speed, and that. So... Reference tone.
Yes, Volta Mondata 8 into the Tyler JT22. All the pickups, because I like to say because I can. And I don't know if we have the tuner on.
Something's not right. Morley AB box.
Right. That we do that just so we can feature Morley because they've been good to us.
So let's dive into it. Let's do depth first.
Okay.
Start with depth. I'm going to turn it all the way down, and then we'll roll that up and then plug.
It's pretty pulsy.
It's interesting in that depth all the way off isn't just totally clean.
All right.
A lot of times you turn up depth all the way down, there's no.
Right.
There's not a lot of extra features here, right? You can't pick your waveform. So you can't pick between sine, triangle, and square, but I don't think you have to the way they have that depth set up.
Right.
I mean, we weren't even halfway up, and I was like, wow, that's like where some of them max out at. And then you start going by that, and you're like, okay, I get it now. We're getting deeper, but we're also getting more. It almost felt like the waveform
Almost
changed.
got to a square. It got really choppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, really small form factor here, right?
Yes.
It's a micro pedal. If you got to have a tremolo and you don't need to have a ton of features, right there, that depth is a lot. Let's see what it can do speed-wise. I think we start... I'm going to put the depth up not quite to half because that should still have a pretty good throb to it, right? I think we start the lowest speed.
Yeah, the low speed on the fast side. The fast side is the red, right?
So we want to go slow speed on the slow side?
Well, that's almost off, right? Like it.
Okay.
Right. It gets fast.
The green side, the slow, is like impossible. All the way down is like impossible. Like, what are you waiting for? The highest setting on the green side is like a pretty good usable speed,
I like
right?
that one. Yeah.
So, but there are people that like to take a tremolo and set the depth really low and set the speed really slow. So they just kind of have this little bit of movement behind their playing.
Right.
That is not like... It's almost giving them that, like, your perceived movement, right? Like you almost can't hear it, but when you turn it off, you realize it's gone. But when you have it on, it's not like you're like, hey, that guy has a tremolo on, right? So that slow side, to set that real kind of slow with real low depth, just to have that kind of wave going through your stuff, that might be really nice. And then we got up to the fastest speed. I was like, oh my gosh, what do you do with this? So then I started playing with the depth, right? Turn the depth all the way off, get it nice and choppy, back off the highest speed just a little bit, and it had that almost like percussive, like and then started moving that around. There's a lot of tones in there.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, we plugged it in for the first time tonight. Sometimes we have a pedal we play a little bit. Literally plugged it in the first time tonight, and it's a little noisy at times when it's just on. But once you start playing,
so like we won't talk for a second. I'll switch to. Hopefully, I'll remember to switch to the guitar mic.
Which isn't completely uncommon.
No, not noisy like...
Yeah.
Right.
But
dead quiet.
Yeah.
And any amp, when you had the tremolo on, would do that. And they're really going for that.
Vintage.
They're so precise in their emulation that they copied the vintage...
Hiss and hum of
the amplifier. Now, I think that's normal, and I don't think you hear it when you're playing. It's just when you stop and it's sitting there. You hear it a little bit. But yeah. And we tried it with a couple different amps and moved some things around, changed power supplies and stuff just to see.
Right.
And with one amp, with the Tyler, I think it was actually a little more high pitched because in the Fender it was a little, but it's still kind of underneath.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you start playing, it disappears.
Anything else to add?
I like it. I mean, of course, I love tremolo. It'd be interesting to, not right now, but to figure out a practical use for this, because the whole tremolo series started because of my Caesar Diaz, where you have like basically a cut switch, which this could. You could, if you wanted to hit that real quick, you could have that fast and slow. You have to.
So one last time, let's see if we can get a sound where we bounce back and we get two usable sounds by doing that.
Do you want to go yellow first, or that doesn't matter really?
Yeah, let's start with red first.
Have to get your toe just right over the top of the switch. But yeah, interesting the way they did that, to have that much range, but not a knob that has like, that goes.
Yeah, it's not a true cut.
Right.
But I feel like you could flip back and forth and use different. And I feel like when you went to the slow, it kind of smoothed it out a little bit too. So, anything else?
No, my first impression, I like it. I like the size.
I feel like I'm riding a tide.
Yes. There was a time when we had the yellow channel on, waiting for the light to come on. We're like really go from the bay out into the ocean. So yeah, Pigtronix, pretty cool stuff. Other things to come in that same form factor. There's a few other ones that I've seen that are interesting. We'll just see what else pops up in the future.
Cool. Always take a minute to say thanks for watching, clicking the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, leaving comments. Like Pat said, anytime you interact with the show, it helps us out, and we appreciate that because it lets us bring more cool stuff to share with you. And I think, check out the webpage.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that we're moving, make room to buy more stuff like the Tide Rider. Might show up on the webpage. All the series, the whole Tremolo series is there as well. So with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard. Reminding, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
So I'm guessing we asked David Barber to come over and see if we can get to the helicopter.
Yes. It's a foghorn and a lighthouse at the same time.